The buzz around Terry McLaurin potentially landing with the Las Vegas Raiders has been heating up. And yes, it's as wild as it sounds. But sometimes wild ideas are the ones that change franchises forever when a name like McLaurin gets floated. In trade rumors especially connected to a team like the Raiders, you've got to sit up and pay attention. Why? Because we're talking about one of the most consistent, explosive, and underappreciated wide receivers in the NFL today. And the idea of pairing him with the offensive weapons already in Vegas, that should make every Raiders fan at least a little bit excited. If not, maybe it's time to check your pulse. Let's break this down. Terry McLaurin, aka Scary Terry, has been nothing short of a warrior in Washington. Through coaching changes, different defensive systems, and a revolving door of quarterbacks, he's delivered. No excuses, just production. Year after year, he puts up elite numbers despite being in less than ideal situations. Last season alone, he hauled in 13 touchdowns with a rookie quarterback under center. That says everything about the kind of player he is. It's not just about the catches or the yards. It's about how he shows up, how he makes others around him better. And you could argue that a big part of Jaden Daniels' surprisingly strong rookie campaign had McLaurin's fingerprints all over it. So why are we even talking about this? Why is Terry McLaurin's name being thrown into trade rumors involving the Raiders? It started with a piece from Fox Sports, which suggested one perfect landing spot for each NFL minicamp holdout. When they listed McLaurin, Las Vegas came up. Now sure, we all know how these things work. It's all speculation. But here's the thing, in the NFL never doesn't mean much. Every year we see trades that no one saw coming, deals that seemed impossible on paper, but somehow got done. If you think back to when the Raiders pulled off the blockbuster for Davante Adams, people were just as skeptical then. Yet it happened. That deal shocked the league and turned heads, and a move from McLaurin could do the same. Fox Sports laid out a vision that's honestly hard not to buy into. Imagine this offense: Geno Smith under center throwing to a receiving cores featuring McLaurin, Jakobi Meyers, and tight end Brock Bowers, with Ashton Jeanty coming out of the backfield. That's not just solid, that's dangerous. And while critics might scoff at putting that group ahead of offenses led by Patrick Mahomes or Justin Herbert when you really stack the talent, you could make the case. You could argue that this Raiders offense with McLaurin in the fold becomes the most complete skill position group in the AFC West. That's a huge claim, but it's not wild. It's based on what these players have shown they can do. And let's not forget the connections that make this all feel just a little more realistic. When we talk about trades in the NFL, it's never just about value, it's about relationships. And Pete Carroll and Dan Quinn have a very real, very deep connection. These two spent 6 years together in Seattle building defenses and making playoff runs. That type of bond doesn't just disappear, it can open doors. Quinn, now steering the ship in Washington, might be more inclined to work with someone he trusts if Pete Carroll picks up the phone and wants to explore something big. Don't be surprised if Quinn listens. That's how deals like this often start, with a phone call between the guys who go way back. Now let's talk about need. The Raiders have quietly been hunting for a true number one receiver. Jakobi Meyers has been solid, reliable, underrated, and productive, but he's not a number one. He's the guy you want next to your number one. Vegas has some young talent too. Trey Tucker, Dante Thornton Jr., and Jack Beck have all shown flashes, but none of them are Scary Terry. And if you look back at reports from earlier this offseason, the Raiders were poking around, trying to make a deal for DK Metcalf. That says a lot. It says they want a big physical game-changing wideout. It says they're looking to upgrade and they're not afraid to make calls. DK himself even said he'd like to play in silver and black, so the interest is clearly there. The question is, are they willing to go all in? Another piece of the puzzle here is money, and the Raiders have it. McLaurin is skipping out on mandatory team activities not because he doesn't want to play, but because he wants to get paid. He's earned that right. And in today's NFL, if you want to keep a top receiver happy, you've got to write a big check. We're talking $30 million a year minimum. That's the going rate. DK got it. A.J. Brown got it. If McLaurin's agent isn't pushing for the same, he's doing it wrong. And the Raiders, unlike some other teams, are actually in a position where they can afford to make that kind of commitment. They can structure it right, they can absorb it, and they can send a message that they're serious about competing. So is McLaurin worth that type of money? That's the $1 million, or maybe the $30 million question. In my eyes, absolutely. He's a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL, and arguably one of the most disrespected ones. I'd personally rank him around number 7. Above Nico Collins, above Tyreek Hill, depending on how much longer Hill can keep up his elite speed. He's the kind of wideout who just makes everyone else's job easier. He's polished, he's explosive, and he's durable. You don't have to worry about whether he's going to show up. He always does. And when you pair that kind of guy with a quarterback like Geno Smith, who's proven he can sling it, when he's in rhythm, the possibilities become endless. Some might point to the Raiders' defense and say, well, what about that side of the ball? It's a fair question. With Christian Wilkins dealing with injury concerns and the uncertainty surrounding his status, it does create a potential hole. But here's the thing, you're not replacing a guy like Wilkins through free agency in late June. That ship has sailed, so maybe you shift the strategy. Maybe instead of trying to fix the defense with another high-profile name, you double down on offense. Maybe you try to win shootouts if the defense can be average. Just average, and the offense is scoring 28 or 30 points a game. You've got a shot. You've got a real shot at making the playoffs in a loaded conference, and timing matters. The Raiders aren't just building for this season. They're looking ahead to 2026-2027. That's when their true Super Bowl window might open. McLaurin fits that window. He's entering his prime. You get him now, you tie him to the same timeline as your head coach, your general manager, your quarterback. That's how you build something sustainable. That's how you stack seasons and start chasing rings. It's not just about making a splash. It's about building a core. And Terry McLaurin would be a cornerstone. We've seen this story before. When Vegas traded for Davante Adams, people lost their minds. No one thought it was possible, but it happened. Because the Raiders saw an opportunity and they took it. And the energy it brought to the team, to the fan base, it was unmatched. A move for McLaurin might not be quite as seismic, but it would still shake up the league. It would tell everyone that the Raiders are not here to just hang around. They're here to contend. So let's talk trade. What would it actually take to bring Terry McLaurin to Las Vegas? There are a few possibilities floating around, and each one has its pros and cons. The first offer comes from a Commanders insider, who suggested a deal involving Jakobi Meyers, Tyree Wilson, and a second-round pick in 2026. On paper, that's not a bad haul for Washington. Meyers gives them a ready-made receiver. Tyree still has upside as a former first-round pick, and the second-rounder adds future value. But the kicker is that the Raiders wouldn't have to give up a first-round pick. That's huge. You keep your premium draft capital while still landing a top-tier weapon. Of course, losing Tyree Wilson hurts, especially considering how high he was drafted. But sometimes you have to give to get. Then there's another scenario, one modeled after the DK Metcalf trade. In that deal, the Raiders would send a second-round pick and a seventh-rounder to Washington and receive McLaurin plus a sixth-round pick in return. It's a clean, balanced deal, one that values McLaurin similarly to how Metcalf was valued not long ago. It also leaves the Raiders' core roster mostly intact. No major players leave, and you still walk away with a star. And then there's my proposal. A bit of a hybrid. I'd offer Washington a second-round pick, a fifth-round compensatory pick, Trey Tucker, and Tyree Wilson. Why this mix? Because it allows the Raiders to keep Jakobi Meyers while still giving Washington real value. Trey Tucker might not have the name recognition, but he's had a strong offseason and he's still on a cheap rookie deal. Washington could see potential there. Tyree Wilson adds even more upside on defense. It's a balanced package that gives the Commanders pieces they can use now and later, while allowing Vegas to add McLaurin without gutting their core. Now, yes, none of these deals are guaranteed. It's all speculation until the call gets made, but the Raiders are in a rare position right now. They have cap space, they have draft capital, and they have a need that McLaurin fills perfectly. If they believe in Geno Smith, and all signs point to that being the case, then giving him a true number one receiver should be a priority. Pair him with scary Terry Brock Bowers and a young back like Ashton Genty, and suddenly this offense has teeth, real bite, enough firepower to challenge anyone in the AFC. And most importantly, it fits the vision. This isn't about making a splash just to say you did it. It's about building a team that can win not just now but in the seasons to come. Terry McLaurin isn't just a name, he's a weapon, a leader, a proven performer who elevates everyone around him. If the Raiders want to make a statement, if they want to signal to the league that they're ready to stop rebuilding and start contending, this is the move. This is the kind of trade that sets the tone. And if it goes down, you better believe the rest of the NFL will be watching. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy, drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Las Vegas might be making quiet strategic moves ahead of the upcoming NFL season. And the latest buzz hints at a potentially impactful signing offensive lineman YASIR DURANT, reportedly coming straight from the UFFL, could be on his way to the Raiders. While nothing has been officially confirmed, sources close to the situation suggest the team is looking to add muscle and depth to their front line, and Durant, with his size and professional experience, fits the bill. Durant, who previously spent time with NFL teams like the Kansas City Chiefs and New England Patriots, has been turning heads in the UFFL with his dominant presence and renewed energy. His stint in the developmental league seems to have sharpened his skills and reignited interest from NFL franchises. At 6'7" and over 330 pounds, Durant offers a towering frame and versatility, traits that could be exactly what the Raiders need to protect their quarterback and solidify their protection schemes. The Raiders have had their share of challenges on the offensive line in recent seasons, and with a young quarterback under center, the urgency to build a reliable pocket has never been greater. Whispers around the organization suggest that Durant is not only being considered for depth, but could be given a real shot at competing for a starting role, especially if his preseason performance echoes what he's shown in the UFFL. Still, it's important to note that this move, while gaining traction among insiders, remains unofficial. No formal announcement has been made by the Raiders front office, and Durant himself has yet to comment on the speculation. However, if the rumors hold true, this could mark a smart low-risk investment for Las Vegas, one that might pay off in big ways if Durant manages to translate his recent form to the NFL stage. Once again, one thing is clear: if YASIR DURANT does land in Las Vegas, the silver and black might have just added a key piece to a puzzle they've been trying to solve for years, keeping their quarterback upright. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.